Hello everyone, welcome to this session. Hope you're all doing good. So let us begin. So in this session, we are looking into IBPS RRB PO Scale 1 prelims for reasoning section. Okay, so this is the first set we have. These questions are based on the following information. Says a certain number of persons sit in a row and all of them are facing north. The following information is known about them. So the exact number of peoples are not known to us. He's only saying a certain number of persons, but they all are facing north. Okay, so now let us consider the conditions. So for now, we can take a single direction, all are facing north. So our left is the left of the person, our right is the right of the person. Okay. Now, only 5 persons sit between G and D. Okay, so only 5 persons sit between G and D. So you can have G here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then D here. Or you can exchange also, and you can have D here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you can have G here. So only 5 persons sit between G and D. Okay. Then further, only one person sits between D and E. Okay, so there is only one person between D and E. So we don't know on which side that is. Correct? So one person between D and E. Okay, so let's come back to that. Then further, he says D sits sixth from the left end. So from the left end, D is the sixth person. Okay, so in the first above case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So D is becoming the seventh person here. So we need not continue this arrangement anymore. So in the below case, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So by adding 5 people before D, D becomes the sixth person from the left end. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sixth person. So D is the sixth from the left end. So this is our left end. That is going to be our left end. Correct? Okay. Then, and now again, one person between D and D, it could take on the left side of D or on the right side of D. Right. Then C sits fourth to the right of G. So on the right side of G, fourth person is C. So 1, 2, 3, and then you can have C, fourth to the right. Okay. Then C sits to the right side of F. Okay, so F is there. So on the right side of F somewhere, you need C. Okay. Now, 4 persons sit between F and G. Now, 4 persons between F and G, I cannot take it on the right side of G. Why? Then F will come, okay, on the right side of C. If F comes on the right side of C, then C comes on the left side of F. But I don't want C on the left side. I want C on the right side of F according to the condition. So we take F on the left side of G, leaving a gap of 4 persons. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you put F in the adjacent position to D, such that now the condition C is to the right side of F satisfies. Correct? Then B sits third to the left of F. Okay, so left side of F, third position. So D is first, second, then you put B. Now you can see that there is one person between B and D. Correct? Now, because there is one person between B and D, now I want one person between D and E also. So E will be on the other side of D. So on the right side of D. Okay, so that way the condition satisfies. All right. Then further, what do we have? H sits at one of the extreme ends. Okay, so I don't know which end is H for now, but H has to be at an end. Okay, we'll consider that. then the number of persons sitting to the left of F is same as number of persons sitting between G and H. Okay. So left of F should be same as G and H. Let us check. Now left of F, how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people are there to the left of F. So there should be 6 people between G and H. Now, if I take H on the left side of G, leaving a gap of 6 people, then you will have H in between B and D, correct? But then we know H has to be at an end. So that is why you cannot take you cannot take H on the left side of G. So you take on the right side of G. So leaving a gap of 6. So 3, 4 are already there. 5 and 6, 2 more people, and then you put H. And that can now be identified as the right end, because H is at one of the ends. So that is the right end. Now we have the total number of persons here. Okay. And further what he says, 4 persons sit between A and E. Okay. So 4 persons between A and E. And also he says A does not sit adjacent to B. So then to the left of E, I cannot have A, because leaving a gap of 4, A will be adjacent to B. So to the right of E with a gap of 4, I can now put A such that A is adjacent to G. And that concludes my final arrangement. Now, if I look at the total number of persons in the arrangement, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So there are a total of 19 people in the arrangement. Okay. Yeah. Now let's go to the questions. Yeah. So this is the arrangement we have. Now it's asking how many persons sit between E and H. Okay. Now when you look at E is here and H is here. So in between E and H, how many are there? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there are a total of 10 people, and that is available in the third option. Okay. Right. Then who sits third to the right of A? Okay. Now A is here. We know it is north facing. Right means our right side. So third to the right. First, second, third to the right you have is C. And C is available in first option. Okay. Then next, how many persons sit in the row? So we know there are a total of 19 persons in the row. Choice 2. Okay. Right. So those are the questions you have in that set. Then next one, he says, in each question, some statements followed by 2 conclusions, 1 and 2 are given. Consider the statements to be true and find which of the 2 conclusions follows the given statements. Okay. So now we need to see which among these follows. Okay. So let's look into this here. So I need a relation between X and P. So for the first conclusion, I need a relation between X and P. But here, as you can already check, you have a relation from P to X. So find a relation from P to X and finally you can reverse it. So I have P greater than G equals X. We know equal to is nothing but replacing G with X. So once I do that, I'll get P greater than X. So when I reverse this, I'll get X less than P. And it is definitely not a match. So 1 does not follow. Correct? Now coming to the second conclusion, we have is A and G. So I need from A to G. So here I have from A to P in the forward direction. So A equals P. And then here from P to G again in the forward direction. P greater than G. So equal to is simply to replace P with A. So once I do that, I get A greater than G, which is a perfect match. So 2 definitely follows. So my answer is only 2 follows. Choice 2. Okay. Choice 2. Right. Then next one. Yes. Now here, the first conclusion, is between J and D. Now I need a relation between J and D. Okay. So I have J to E now in the reverse direction. So I'll get J less than E, and then from E to P and P to D in the forward direction. So we keep the inequalities as it is. Less than or equals P equals D. Now equal to, we know, is to simply replace the alphabet. And for the remaining, we know is less than is common. So that means between J and D, you will have less than, which is a perfect match. Correct? Now coming to conclusion 2, we have between B and D. So I have B to E in the forward direction. So I have B greater than E, and then remaining E to P, P to D. So I have E greater than or, sorry, E less than or equals. Correct? So here I have less than or equals P equals D. Now here, unfortunately, you have opposite signs. So when you have opposite signs, I don't know what relation is available here. So conclusion 2 does not follow. So my answer for this is only one follows. First option. Okay. Right. Next. So conclusion 1, I have it between Q and V. Sorry, Q and U. Okay. So I have here from Q to P in the reverse direction. So I get Q greater than or equals P. Then P to V and V to U. So greater than V equals U. So equal to is simply to replace the alphabet V with U, and for the remaining greater than is common. So that means between Q and U, you will definitely have greater than, which is a match. So 1 follows. Then what about the second one, T to V? So I have T to S in the reverse direction. So I get T greater than S. And then I have S to P and P to V. So S greater than P, P greater than V. So as you can see that greater than is common. So between T and V, you have greater than, which is also a perfect match. So it follows. So my final answer is both 1 and 2 follow. Choice 5. Correct? Okay. Yeah. Both 1 and 2 follow. Right. The next one. Now here, I can slightly change this and write it as D equals B, because both are same. D equals D or D equals B. So that the two conclusions that I have are having the same alphabets, D and B. So I'll take a single expression to get my answer. So from D, I can go to K in the reverse direction. So I get D equals K. Then from K, I can go to J again in the reverse direction. So greater than or equals J. And then from J, I can go to B again in the reverse direction, equals B. Now equal to is simply to replace it. So I'll get D greater than or equals B. So I am getting D greater than B or D equals B. Correct? So that is why we give our answer as either 1 or 2 follows. Okay. Right. Then next one. Now conclusion 1, I need a relation between D and P. Okay. So I have D to G. I'll get D less than G. Then from G in the reverse, G equals H I will have, and then again in the reverse, it will become less than P. So this is what we have. So I can replace G to H or H to G, but the remaining we have is less than common. So between D and P, I can have less than, which is a perfect match. Correct? Now conclusion 2, I have it between H and Q. So I need a relation between H and Q. So from H, I go to G in the forward direction. So equals G. And then from G to Q, which is less than or equals Q. So equal to is to replace. So I'll get H less than or equals Q, which is again a perfect match. So here I will have both 1 and 2 follow as the answer. Okay, right. Then, okay, so those were the questions you had in statements and conclusions. Then moving on to the next. These questions are based on the following information. Says 9 boxes A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and I are placed one above the other, not necessarily in the same order. The box that is placed at the bottom is numbered 1. The box that is placed immediately above 1 is numbered 2, and so on. The topmost box is numbered 9. So this is a box arrangement we have. Okay. So let's take the box arrangement. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so 9 boxes. The bottommost box is numbered 1. Then box above 1 is numbered 2, and so on until the topmost box is numbered 9. So that is how the boxes are arranged. Okay. Now further what he says, E is placed in an odd numbered position. Okay. A is placed 3 boxes above B, which means B. Usually when persons are there, he will use who. But when other than persons are there, they will use the word which. Both means the same, just before it. Which is placed immediately above E. Means B has to be placed immediately above E. So we have E, which is an odd number. Immediately above E, you have B. Okay. And A is 3 boxes above B. So leaving a gap of 2, you have A above B. And also he says box G is placed below B, but not at the bottom. So B is below B, you need G. Now obviously G has to come below E also. Correct? So below need not be, just below. So not at the bottom, not bottommost. Not bottommost. That's the condition we have. Okay, so basing on this, which odd numbers are available for E, we need to check. Okay, now 1 definitely is not available for E, because if 1 is E, then 2 is B, then G cannot be fixed. Now, what about the third position? If I take E in the third position, that is definitely available. Then I can have B in the fourth. Then leaving a gap of 2, I can have A in the 7th and then G in the 2nd, because G cannot be the bottommost. Correct? So this is case 1. So what is case 2? You can have E in the 5th. Then you can have B in the 6th. Leaving a gap of 2, you can have A in the 9th. And then G can be given in any one of the below positions, 2, 3 or 4. 1 cannot be possible. So these are the only 2 odd numbers available for E. Correct? Right. Now further, what he says, 3 boxes are placed between boxes C and G. Okay, 3 boxes should be there between C and G. So in the first case, above G only is possible. Leaving a gap of 3, you can have C in the 6th. Okay. Now below, you can put G in the 4th, then leaving a gap of 3 above. Below is not possible. You can have C in the 8th. Then you can have G in the 3rd. Leaving a gap of 3, you can have C in the 7th also. But now I can rule out G in the 2nd, because now putting G in the 2nd, leaving a gap of 3, you already have B in the 6th. So C cannot be placed. So still 2 cases are there for fixing G. Okay. So we have 3 boxes between G and C. C definitely comes above G only. But look at the next information. At least 2 boxes are placed above C. So minimum 2 boxes should be above C. You can have more than 2, but minimum 2 is there. Then in that case, I can rule out G in the 4th position for the 2nd, because leaving a gap of 3, then C will be put in the 8th. I cannot have C in the 8th because there is only 1 box above. I need at least 2 boxes above. Now, in the first case, you have 3 boxes above C. Now, in the second case, putting C in the 7th and G in the 3rd is the only possibility such that above C, you have 2 boxes. Understood? Okay. So that is how we need to look at this. Okay. Further. He says box D is placed above F and is placed in an even numbered position. Okay. So we have D is above F and he says and means it refers to the first box, that is D. So D has to be placed in an even numbered position. Okay. So D above F and an even number. Now in the first case, if you check, 2, 4, 6 are already filled. So 8 is the only even number available. So D has to be fixed there. And F can come anywhere in the 5th or in the 1st position. But in the second case, you can have 2, you can have 4, and you can have 8 also for D. Correct? So let us check further what he says. Now, more than 2 boxes are placed above I. So above I, you need more than 2 boxes. Greater than 2 boxes should definitely be placed above I. So if more than 2 boxes should be placed above I, in the first case, I can be in the 5th or in the 1st also. So more than 2 boxes above. So definitely I cannot be in the 9th position in the first case. And in the second case, I cannot be in the 8th position because it says more than 2. That much is clear. Okay. Now after I, he says which means it is I, is placed above F. So I has to be placed above F. So if I has to be placed above F, then I cannot be in the 1st position in both the cases. Correct? Now, when you look at the first case, I is not in the 9th position and I is not in the 1st position. That means I has to be placed in the 5th position. That means then F has to be in the 1st position because D is above F. Correct? And the remaining person you have is H. Okay, in the second case, where can I place I? I can still be placed in the 4th or in the 2nd. That is still available. So we'll have to hold that off for now. Okay. Then H is placed below F. So H has to come below F. Now, unfortunately, in the first case, H is at the topmost position, which is not correct. So the first arrangement is not valid anymore because H has to come below F. So if H has to come below F, then F is also ruled out in the 1st position. Correct? So see, right now, how many available positions are there? 4 available positions are there. And who are the 4 persons? D, F, H, and I. Correct? Now, when you look at the 1st position, F cannot be there. Why? Because below F, you need H. I cannot be there. Correct? Because below I, you need F. And D cannot be there because D has to be in an even number only. So the only person who can occupy the 1st position, the bottommost position, is H. Correct? And we know below D you need F. And we know below I also you need F. So both D and I should be above. Then definitely F has to occupy the 2nd position. F has to occupy the 2nd position. Correct? From the bottom. Now D and I. See, we know I cannot be placed in the 8th position. Why? Because of this condition. More than 2 boxes should be there above I. So that is why I will occupy the 4th position and then the remaining person D will occupy the 8th position, which is, by the way, an even number. So that way we get our final arrangement. Okay. Right. So now basing on this, let's have a look into the questions. Okay. So we have the arrangement here. Now, which box is placed at the 5th position from the bottom? So fifth position from the bottom, which is the box you have, it is E. And E is available in fourth option. Then which box is placed immediately below D? So immediately below D, which box is placed? It is C. And C is given in option 2. Box C, correct? Right. The next one, how many boxes are placed between C and H? So now look at between C and H. So how many boxes are there between? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes are there between C and H. And that is fifth option, more than 3. Correct? More than 3. Then which box is placed at the top? So the ninth position, which is box A, first option. Then 4 of the following 5 are alike in a certain way and hence form a group. Find the one that doesn't belong to that group. So it's odd man out question. So let us see which are the boxes he is mentioning in the options. Box A. Then we have box C. Then we have box F. Then we have box E. And then we have box H. Okay. Now, look at this. A, C, E, and H. Can I say they all are in odd positions? Whereas F is the box that is available in an even position. So the odd man out here is odd number positions. That is the common logic. And F doesn't belong to that logic. So third option. Okay. Yeah. Then we have is the next set. In a certain code language, some statements are coded as follows. So here, as you can see, some statements and codes are given. So we need to make a list of words because as you can see, the words are repeated here. So we make a list of words and we try to take the codes and then we look into the questions. Correct? So we have some people never tired. So let's write that. Some people never tired. Okay. These are the 4 words have in the first sentence. Then people more active users. So people is already there. More active. Okay. More active and users. Right. The next, tired neighbor lose more. So tired is already there. Neighbor lose and more is already written. And finally, more their active neighbor. So more is there. There I will write THEIR. Active is there, neighbor is there. So more their active neighbor. Okay. So these are all the different words we have. Now, based on the codes, we'll find the codes and then we'll look into the questions. Okay. So let's look at repeated words. See, the word people is repeated in the first and second sentence. So which code is repeated among the 4? PA is repeated. So for people, we can have PA. Then the word never is not there, but the word tired is repeated in 1 and 3rd sentence. So between the remaining 3, the code RA is repeated, as you can see. So for tired, it is RA. So for some and never, since there are no other sentences having that some and never, we will have to use these 2 codes, KA, CA in either order. So KA or CA, CA or KA. Okay. Then the second sentence, more, is repeated in second and third sentences. So the code that is repeated is More is also there in the fourth sentence, as you can see, in these three sentences. So what is the code that is there in all the three? SA, as you can see. Correct? SA. So for more, we can put SA. Then active is repeated in second and fourth sentences. So between TA and HA, as you can see, HA is there. So we can take for active as HA. Now the remaining word is users. So the remaining code we have is TA. So for users, we take TA. Then neighbor is repeated in third and fourth sentence. So between them, the code is DA. So neighbor is DA. Now lose is the only remaining word, and the code we have is MA in the third sentence. And there is the only remaining word, and the code we have is BA. So that way, we can get the codes. Now, because now you have the codes, you don't need to go back to the table again for checking for every question. So that's the advantage. Now, once you have these codes with you in your rough sheet, you can start answering the questions. Okay, right. Now, what is the code for the word never? Now, for the word never, we have CA or KA. Now, because he says is, fifth option, either CA or KA. Correct? Choice 5. Now, which word is coded as SA? Now, which is the word that is coded as SA? The word is more. More is coded as SA. And that's there in the choice 2. Now, what is the code for there active? Okay, 2 words. There and active. So there we have is BA, active is HA. So it is BA, HA. That is available in fourth option. Correct? Then what can be the code for never, there, space? See, now the question is can be. So can be means possibility. So what can be the possible code? He's asking for never, there, and space. Now, when you look at that, for never, we have is either CA or KA. There is BA. Okay. CA or KA, BA. But do I have the word space here? No. Okay. So it is CA or KA, BA. Now this is a new word. Now because you have a new word, I will be needing a new code. I cannot take the existing code from the list. So one among CA or KA, but BA is compulsory. So BA is definitely there. KA is also there. GA. Can I take GA as the code from the first option? Do I have GA existing available? No, GA is not available. So I can definitely make use of GA. So first option itself can be identified as the answer. Okay, so BA is compulsory. But when you look at the other options, do I have BA anywhere? I don't have BA anywhere. So with that itself, I can answer my question. Because there is BA that has to be compulsorily available. And none of the options except the first option have it. Correct? So yeah, choice 1. Choice 1 can be considered as the answer. Okay. Next. Okay. So those were the questions you had in that set. Now moving on. The next he says 8 persons, PQR, STU, V and W are sitting around a circular table, not necessarily in the same order. Among them, 5 are facing the center and the remaining are facing away from the center. So out of 8, 5 are facing the center. That means the remaining is 3 people facing away from the center. And the following information is known. Okay, so let's have a look into it. So we'll take the arrangement. So we have a circle. 8 is an even number. So we can definitely have opposite positions. Okay. Now, the first one says S sits second to the left of P, who means P is adjacent to R. Now, when he says left of P, I need to know the direction of P. Now, since the direction of P is unknown, in case 1, I will take P as facing the center. Okay. And in the second case, I will now take P as facing away from the center. So these are going to be your two cases. Now S is second to the left of P. So now in the first case, left is clockwise direction. So you will have S here. And in the second case, left is anti-clockwise direction. So you will have S here. Who means P is adjacent to R. Now both the adjacent positions of P are available. So let us wait for that. Now the next line says W sits immediate right of P. So W has to be immediate right of P. So in the first case, right is anti-clockwise direction. So you pick W, immediate right. Then the other adjacent will be R. Now in here, second case, right is clockwise direction. So you put W here, immediate right. So the other adjacent position will be R because P is adjacent to R. Now further he says and means it is the first person, that is W, is not adjacent to V. So W cannot be adjacent to V. So the adjacent position of W, you will remove V. Correct? Okay. Then next. R sits third to the right of V. Okay. So R should be third to the right of V. Now forget about the right part. If R is in the third position from V, then V also should be in third position from R. Correct? So count the third position because R is already placed. On one side, if I count, you are getting V in adjacent position to W, which we have already removed. So you take on the other side. On the other side, you will have V opposite to P in both cases. Such that now V is in third position from R, R also is in third position from V. Now once I know the position of V, now you can fix the direction of V based on left or right. Now because he says right of V. So in the first case, I am counting third position in the anti-clockwise direction. So V will be facing the center. Now in the second case, I am counting third position of R in the clockwise direction. So V will be away from the center. Correct? Right. Then next, only one person sits between Q and R. Okay. Now you already have one person between R and W. Now one person between Q and R. So Q will be in between V and S in both the cases. Correct? Okay. Then further, the immediate neighbors of W are facing opposite directions. Okay. The immediate neighbors of W should be opposite directions. So one immediate neighbor is P facing the center, the other should be away. In the second case, one immediate neighbor is P facing away, the other should be towards. Okay, right. Then U does not sit opposite to R. So U is not opposite to R means U has to be opposite to S because that's the only other position available. So in both cases, U will be opposite to S. And then who's the remaining person? The remaining person is T. So T will be opposite to R. So that way we have the persons now fixed in both cases. We need the directions. And remember, 5 persons are facing the center. 3 persons should be facing away from the center. Correct? Right. Now Q and U face different directions. Okay. Q and U face different directions. So since in the first case, U is away from the center, then Q will be towards. In the second case, U is towards the center, so Q will be away. Q and U face different directions. And then he says R and W face the same direction. Okay, so now R and W should face the same direction. Okay. So we don't know which direction it is. So we have R and W same direction. At least in the first case, I don't know which direction I can give for R and W. But when you look at the second case, now you already have 3 people facing away from the center, correct? V, Q, and P. So the remaining have to face the center because I need 5 people facing the center. So W, R, S, T along with U. These are the 5 people who will be facing the center. So that W and R are facing the center. Now in the first case, what happens is at present, U is the only person who is away from the center. So R and W can face away from the center. So I'll get 3 people. What is the other case? Q, V and P. 3 people are facing the center along with R and W. I get 5 people facing the center. So R and W can face the center also. Correct? So let's hold that for now. Then the person who sits opposite R faces the opposite direction as R faces. Okay. So now look at the right side case, the second case, the person who is opposite to R should face a direction that is opposite to R facing. But here what is happening? Both are facing the same direction. Both are facing the center. Correct? So that is why the right side case is not valid anymore. Okay. Then S and Q face opposite directions. Okay. So if S and Q are opposite, so S will be away from the center. Now I know that there are 2 people, S and U are away from the center. So R and W cannot be away from the center because they need to face the same direction. They both will be towards the center. Then the remaining person T has to face away from the center. Then my condition satisfies, saying that the person who is opposite to R faces the direction which is opposite to R faces. Correct? And there are 3 people facing away, S, T and U. And that way I can say finally I get my arrangement. Correct? Yeah. Okay. So now based on this, let's have a look into the questions. Okay. Right. Now the question is who sits to the immediate right of T? Okay. Now T is away from the center. Right we know is clockwise direction. Immediate right you have is U. And U is available in the first option. Correct? Then who sits opposite to Q? So opposite to Q you have is W. And that's available in the third option. Then who sits third to the left of S? Now S is away from the center, left is anti-clockwise direction. So first to the left is R, second to the left is P, third to the left is W. So choice 4. Third to the left of S is W. Okay. Then which of the following statements is or are true, he says. Okay, let's see. The first one is W faces away from the center. Is he facing away from the center? No. So this is false. One is not true. Then next, U sits to the immediate right of W. So check, is U immediate right of W? Correct. W is facing the center, right is anti-clockwise, and U is immediate right. So choice 2 is definitely true. But here, if you look at the fifth option, he says both 2 and 4 are true. So I can straight away rule out the third one. I need not check. P and T are immediate neighbors. No, they are not. Now fourth one, R and T face the same direction. Do R and T face the same direction? No, R is facing the center, whereas T is facing away from the center. So fourth is also not true. So fifth cannot be chosen. So the only option you can choose is choice 2. Okay. Right. Then 4 of the following 5 are alike in a certain way and hence form a group. Find the one that doesn't belong to that group. Okay. So we have the persons. V is here. W is here. Q is here. P is here. And U is here. Now, as you can clearly see, except for you, remaining all persons are facing center. That is the logic. The common logic we have is facing center. And the one that doesn't follow that logic is you. So fifth option. Okay, right. Right. So those are the questions you had in that set. Next one. He says if in the number is 539246917. One is subtracted from the digits in first, third, fifth, and seventh positions. So first, third, fifth, and seventh positions, he says one needs to be subtracted. So by doing -1, okay, and then from left to right. And 2 is added to the remaining digits. So for the remaining digits, he is asking us to add 2. So by doing that, I will get 4, 5, 8, 4, 3, 8, 8, 3, 9. Okay, now the question is, which of the following digits is or are repeated at least twice in the new number thus formed? So minimum 2 times, which are repeated. So 4 is repeated, then 8 is repeated, and 3 is repeated. Whereas 5 and 9, these are the 2 digits that are not repeated. So we have 4, 8, 3. These are the 3 digits that are repeated. So the option that we need to choose is choice 4, 3, 4, and 8. At least twice. Minimum 2 times. Correct? Yeah. Then 4 of the following 5 letter clusters are alike in a certain way and hence form a group. Find the one that doesn't belong to that group. So now we need to see which among the options doesn't belong in a group. So let's take option by option. We have B, H, J. Means if I take the place values 2, 8, 10. So I can say that this is +6, +2. Correct? Now if I take the second option, K, Q, S, which is 11, 17, 19. So here also I can see that it is +6, +2. Same logic as the first option. Then third option we have D, J, L, which is 4, 10, 12. So here again I'm getting +6, +2. Okay. Then fourth option M, S, U. So 13, 19, 21. So again we have +6, +2. Okay. Then in the fifth option we have P, V, Z. 16, 22, and 26. So here I'm getting +6 here, but here again I'm getting +4. So I can clearly say that it is the fifth option, where it is not following the logic that we have in the remaining 4 options, +6 and +2. Correct? Yeah. So that's the logic we have. Okay. Choice 5. All right. Then next one. We have 8 persons, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, and W, live in a 4-storied building. Each floor has 2 flats, flat 1 and flat 2. On any floor, flat 1 is to the west of flat 2. So west means the left side of flat 2. The ground floor is considered floor 1. The floor immediately above the ground floor is considered floor 2, and so on. The flat 1 on floor 2 is immediately above flat 1 on floor 1 and west of flat 2 on floor 2, and so on. And he says only 2 persons live on each floor and only 1 person lives in each flat. The following information is known. Okay, so let's take the arrangement we have. So there are 4 floors. and 2 flats. Flat 1 is on the west side of flat 2, that is on the left side of flat 2. Okay. So this is how the arrangement is going to be. Right? Okay. Now, coming to the conditions. V lives in a flat that is immediately below the flat in which Q lives. Now check here. When you have multiple flats, the condition will be given either with respect to flat or with respect to floor. Here, he is talking about flat. V is immediately below the flat in which Q lives. So by default, the floor is also immediate below, and flat number should be the same for both Q and V. It could be flat 1, it could be flat 2. Okay. The next says neither T nor V lives on floor 2. So complete floor 2, you cannot have T, you cannot have V. Okay. And what else he says? One floor is there between the floors on which Q and T live. See, now he is talking about the floor. So there is one floor between Q and T. So they need not be in the same flat. They may also be in the same flat. We don't know. Now, basing on this, now check. Now, since a T cannot be on the second floor, I can remove Q on the fourth floor because one floor between Q and T. Correct? Now, since V is not there in the second floor, I can remove Q on the third floor. And I can also remove Q on the first floor because immediately below Q, you need V. So the only floor available for Q is the second floor. So immediately I can have two cases because I don't know which flat Q and V are on. So I can consider two cases. So let's take both the cases. So in case 1, I will give Q and V in flat 1. In case 2, I will give Q and V in flat 2. Now T definitely should be in floor 4, but which flat? I have no idea. Floor 4, you need a T. That much is very clear. Okay, further, what he says. P lives in a flat that is to the east of the flat in which T lives. See, wherever T is, definitely P should be east. East means what? Right side. So by default, they have to be on the same floor. That means a T definitely has to be in flat 1. Then only flat 2 is on the east side of flat 1, such that P can be on the east side of T. Correct? So T, P, T, P. Correct? Right. Next. R and U live in different numbered flats. Okay. So R and U, he says different number flats. Okay, we'll come to that. Then further, W lives above the floor on which R lives and does not live on floor 3. And means a W. So W is above the floor, he says. Okay, W is above the floor in which R lives and does not live on floor number 3. So W definitely is ruled out in floor number 3. And definitely W cannot be in floor number 1. And floor 4 is already filled. So the only possibility is you give W in floor number 2, such that now W is above R. R will be in floor number 1. So W and R now belong to the same flat. Now since he says R and U are on different flats. Now since in the first case R is in flat 2, you put U below T. And in the second case R is in flat 1, you put U below P. And who's the remaining person? The remaining person is S. So you put S here. Now, what is the one last information we have? S does not live immediately below the flat in which T lives. So S should not be immediately below the flat of T. Now, unfortunately, when you look at the second case, I am getting S is immediately below the flat in which T lives. So case 2 is not valid anymore. So we go with case 1. Okay. Yeah. So that way we get our final arrangement. Okay. Right. So now questions. Who lives immediately below the flat in which P lives? See, he says immediately below the flat of P. You have is S, and that's available in choice 5. Okay. Then who lives in flat 1 of floor number 3? So flat 1 of floor number 3 we have is U, and that is given to us in choice 2. Then in which flat and on which floor does W live? So W is in flat 2 of floor 2. So flat 2, floor 2. Third option is W. Correct? Then who lives on floor number 4? So floor number 4 we have T and P. That's available in first option. Okay. Right. So those are the questions you have in that set. Now next one. These questions are based on the following information. Some tables are placed on the ground. So table B is 26 meters east of table A. Okay. So it is the directions. So we'll fix the table first. So we have table B is east of A, 26 meters. So we have A, and then we have B, and this is 26 meters. Okay. Then which means A is 10 meters north of E. So A is north of E, 10 meters. So this is 10 and you have E. Okay. Then table D is 12 meters north of H. So I don't know where D or H is. I'll put it here. So we have D on the north of H. So above H, and the distance is 12. And C is 9 meters east of H. East is right side of H. You have C, that is 9 meters. Okay. Then table L is 13 meters south of B. Okay. So L is 13 meters south of B. So E is 10 meters south of A. Now we have L 13 meters, a little extra. South of B, you have is L. And then continuation, which means table B is 10 meters south of G. Okay, so B is 10 meters south of G. So south is below G, you have B 10 meters. So this is 10 meters, you have G here. Okay. Then further. Now table E is 10 meters to the west of table D. So west is left side. So E is west of D. So D is east of E, correct? So 10 meters. So we take 10 meters. Okay. So this is D we have. E is west of D, 10 meters. Now F, now once we have D, I can fix H and C, correct? So first let us do that. So you have 12 meters. Now check here, this is a 10, so this is only 3. But now I need 12 here. So when I need 12, we need to take the distances correctly. So this is 3 and this is 9. So 3 and 9, you get 12. That is where you have H. Okay. And then 9 is C. So C, this is 9. Okay. Yeah. So let's just take this. Okay. Let's continue. Then F is north of H and west of G. So F should be north of H, means above H, and at the same time west of G. So F should be put here, which is north of H. So that means this is 16, because total is 26 and this is 10. So this is 16. And then you have this distance. So that is, you have 10 plus 10. So that is, this is also 10 and this is also 10. So that way we have our final table chart. Okay. Based on the given information. Yeah. Now we use this to answer our questions. Okay. Right. Okay. So now coming to the questions. He says, in which direction is G? So I need to know the direction of G. So with respect to C. So from C, check here in the diagram, where is G? So on this side, correct? So we have above is north, our right is east. So definitely the direction is northeast. Correct? Then what is the distance between right? So he's asking what is the distance between tables F and H. Okay. Now check here. F is here and H is here. So he's asking what is this total vertical distance that we have between F and H. So let us look into this. Now we have a 10 here, another 10 here, 12 here. So 10 plus 10, 20, 20 plus 12 is 32. Correct? So total distance I'm getting is 32, and that's available in choice 2. 32. Then in which direction is a table L with respect to table F? So with respect to F, in which direction is L? So L is the direction I want. So from F, I need to check. So this is the direction we have. So the downward direction is south. Our right direction is east. So in between I get is southeast, and that is available in the 5th option. Correct? Yeah. Okay. Right. So now, yes. So those are the questions you have for directions. Now, next he says, in each question, some statements are followed by two conclusions, numbered 1 and 2. Consider the given statements to be true, even if they seem to be at variance with commonly known facts, and decide which of the conclusions logically follows from the given statements, disregarding the commonly known facts. Okay. So syllogisms, deductions are given. Okay. So let's look into this. So first, let's draw the combined diagram for the given statements. So we have all cats are goats. Okay. So all the cats are goats. Then we have only a few cats are dogs. So only a few cats are dogs. So there should be some cats that are not inside dogs. That is how you have to represent it. Only a few. Okay. And then we have all rats are dogs. So the complete rats are inside dogs. So this is your combined diagram we have. Now look into the first conclusion. Some dogs are goats. Do I have an overlap between a D circle and a G circle, dogs and goats? Yes. So it is a positive conclusion that satisfies. So I can say follows. Conclusion 1 follows. Now conclusion 2 here is negative. Some cats are not rats. Check. Do I have some cats are not rats? Correct. See, some shaded portion inside the cat circle is definitely not inside the rat circle. So what is happening here? The negative is a yes in the basic diagram. Now, because it is a yes in the basic diagram, I am allowed to go to the alternate diagram and take a complementary pair. And the complementary pair for that is all, which is all cats are rats. Now tell me, can I take all the cats inside rats? So what happens if I take all the cats inside rats? If you observe the diagram, if I take all the cats, okay, inside the rats, since the rat circle is already inside the dog circle, cat circle completely goes inside the dog circle. But is it allowed? Definitely not allowed. Because see, look at the second statement that we have. Only a few cats are dogs. See, that is why this indication is important. See, this indication where you put some shaded portion of cats, put an arrow mark inside the dogs with an into, saying there should be some portion of cats never entering inside dogs. But here what is happening? All the cats are entering inside dogs, which is not. That means the complementary pair is not satisfied. That means the given negative continues to follow even in the alternate diagram. So conclusion 2 also follows. So my final answer is both 1 and 2 follows. Correct? Yes. Okay. Right. So then moving on to the next. Yes. Now here, again, let's draw the combined diagram for the statements. Again, he says only a few paints are colors. Okay, let's take that like this. Only a few paints are colors. So there should be some paints, never inside colors. Then we have all the colors are design interiors. Sorry. And then we have no interior is a design like this. So when he says no interior is a design, we make an indication like this saying that the I circle and the D circle should never overlap with each other. No. So that indication helps us understand when you have separate circles like this. Okay. Now based on this, let's look into the conclusions. First one, some interiors are paints. Check, do I have an overlap between interior and paint circle? Yes. So it is a positive conclusion that satisfies. So we say it follows. Now the second one says some colors being designs is a possibility. So some colors being designs, is it possible? Okay, so you have the color circle completely inside the I circle. Now if colors and designs have to overlap, because he is definitely saying it is some. So some means partial overlap. So if colors and designs have to partially overlap, the design circle should first enter inside the I circle, interior circle. Is it allowed? No, it is not allowed. Correct? Because you clearly have no interior is a design. So that indication helps us understand the movement of the circle. So D is never allowed to overlap with interior. Then it can never overlap with color. So is it possible? It is definitely not possible. Now, because he says is a possibility, we say it does not follow. So my answer for this becomes only one follows. Correct? Yeah. Only one follows. Okay. Then next one. Yes. Again, let's draw the combined diagram for the statements. Here we have only a few shares are stocks. Okay. Only a few shares are stocks. Okay. That means there are definitely some shares that should never be inside stocks. And then we have all the shares are prices. Okay. So this is the diagram we have. Now look at the conclusions. First one is no price is a stock. Second is some prices are stocks. So we do have complementary pairs given here. Means they are opposite to each other. So now we need to check, is there a chance that we get either or? So let's see. The first one says, see, when do you check that you get a chance that it is either or? The negative conclusion should satisfy, and then you go to the alternate diagram to check the complementary pair. Then only either or can happen. If you are not going for the alternate diagram, then either or will never happen. Now look at the negative. No price is a stock. Means price should be separate, stock should be separate. Do I have two separate circles here? No. So it is a negative conclusion which does not satisfy your combined diagram, does not follow. When are you allowed to go to the alternate diagram? When the negative conclusion satisfies your combined diagram. Then only you go for the alternate diagram. Now, since here it is not satisfying the combined basic diagram, it does not follow. Be it a positive conclusion or a negative conclusion, it is a conclusion. If it is not satisfying your basic diagram, it will never be your answer. So here either or will never happen. So now look at the second one. Some prices are stocks. Yeah, the price circle and the stock circle are overlapping with one another. So yes, 2 definitely follows. So my answer becomes only 2 follows. Correct? Okay. Right. Only 2 follows. Then next one. Drawing the combined diagram for the statements. Some keyboards are mouses. Okay. Some keyboards are mouses. And no monitor is a keyboard. No overlap between monitor and keyboard. Okay. Now coming to the conclusions. First one, some mouse can be monitors. Correct. Can be. Now can be is a possibility. Now can I have a partial overlap? Because it says some. Can I have a partial overlap of mouse and monitors? That should not be a problem. See, I can draw it like this. This is monitor. As long as the monitor circle and the keyboard circle are not overlapping with one another, the monitor circle can move anywhere it wants because it is a possibility. You can check, is it possible like this? So it is definitely possible. So I can clearly say conclusion 1 follows. Now second one is negative. That says no monitor is a mouse. Correct? Monitor is separate, mouse is separate. No monitor is a mouse. So negative is a yes in the basic diagram. Then you are allowed to go to the alternate diagram and take its complementary pair. And what's the complementary pair for no monitor is a mouse? It is some monitors are mouse. Now some monitors are mouse we have already drawn using the earlier conclusion. Is it possible? Yes. That means the complementary pair satisfies. That means the given negative will not satisfy anymore in the alternate diagram. So negative does not follow anymore. So my answer to this will be only 1 follows. Correct? Yes. Only 1 follows. All right. Then next one. Okay. We have one more. Now drawing the combined diagram for the statements. Only a few plates are pots. Okay. So only a few plates are pots. Like this. Only a few. So there should be some plates, never inside pots. Correct? Then some glasses are plates like this. Some glasses are plates. And then all jars are pots like this. All the jars are pots. So this is the combined diagram we have. Now coming to the conclusions. First one, no jar is a glass. So as you can see, it is a negative conclusion. Okay. Now that negative conclusion is yes in the basic diagram because jar is separate, glass is separate. So I am allowed to go to the alternate diagram and take the complementary pair. And the complementary pair for no jar is a glass is some jars are glass. Now we need to check, is it possible to have some jars are glass? Now what I can do is, see here, since glass is already overlapping with plate, correct? So can I draw an overlapping circle like this so that the original relation is still maintained? And can I move the jar circle somewhat like this here? I can, because I'm allowed to move within the circle. I can move anywhere I want as long as I'm maintaining my original relations. The original relations are still maintained. The original relations are still maintained, correct? So I am able to move it. So some jars are glass is definitely possible. That means the given negative does not follow. So conclusion 1 does not follow. Understood? Now let's look at 2. 2 says all plates being jars is a possibility. All the plates being jars. Is it possible? Now check here. Now if I want to take all the plates inside jars like this, see, I'm taking the complete plates inside jars. Now since I know that all the jars are already inside pots, now what happens? The complete plates are also inside pots. Is it allowed? Unfortunately, it is not allowed. See, because of this, only a few plates are pots. See, this is my original relation. There should be some plates, never inside pots. But what is happening here? The complete plates are going inside pots. If I want to satisfy my possibility. So is it possible? No, it is definitely not possible. So my answer for this is going to be neither 1 nor 2 follows. Correct? Yes. Okay. So understand the movements of the circles based on the restrictions we have. That is how deductions can be answered. Okay. Right. All right. So those were your questions on deductions. Then next one. Each of the 8 persons, JKL, MNO, P and Q, is working in an organization as chairman, director, ED, RM, GM, DGM, AO, and clerk, not necessarily in the same order. The given designations are in the same order from the senior-most cadre to junior-most cadre. Okay. So chairman is the senior-most, clerk is the junior-most. That is, director is junior to chairman, ED is junior to director, and so on. So chairman is the senior most and clerk is the junior most among all. Now this tells you that we need to fix designations first in the given order. So from top to bottom, we arrange them in the given order. So senior most will be at the top, junior most will be at the bottom. So when he says senior, we can take above. When he says junior, we can take below. So that way, it is easy to understand the instructions. Okay, so let's take the designations first. So we have chairman, then we have director, ED, RM. So director, ED, RM, GM, DGM, AO and clerk. AO and clerk. Okay. So we have the designations, and now based on the instructions, we can arrange the persons. Okay. So let's see this. Now condition 1 says either K or Q is an EO. AO. Okay. So AO is one among K or Q. Only one among these two. Okay. Let's come to that. Next, P is either a director or a GM. Now this gives us two cases. P can be fixed either as a director in case 1. In case 2, you can fix as a GM. Here. Okay. So these are the two cases we will look at now. Then further, N is neither an ED nor a clerk. So N is not an ED, not a clerk. Okay. Now the number of persons senior to N is same as number of persons junior to O. So senior to N means above N should be same as junior to O means below O. But he says that O is senior to N. So we have O senior to N. So O should be above N. So when you have this condition, we need to take the same positions from opposite ends. Means first from the top, first from the bottom. Second from the top, second from the bottom. Third from the top, third from the bottom. So like that, we need to check and verify. Now in this case, since N cannot be first from the bottom, you can remove O as first from the top. Okay. And since N cannot be third from the top, you can remove O third from the bottom. So these two positions are ruled out for O. Now what is available? Now second from the bottom is either K or Q. So N cannot happen. That means I can rule out O in the second position also from the top. Correct? Now third position, however, in both the cases, third position in both the cases is available for O, and third position from the bottom in both cases N is available. Correct? Now, in the first case, fourth position from the top and fourth position from the bottom is also available. So what we can do here is we take two cases from here. Okay. In this particular case, we'll take two cases. I will put in both cases P as the director. Now in the first case, I will put O as ED, N as DGM. In the second case, I'll put O as RM, N as GM. So that number of persons senior to N is same as junior to O. Now what happens in the second case? In the second case, I don't have any other position but to fix O as ED, N as DGM. No other position is available for fixing O and N. O cannot fix in RM because N cannot be fixed in GM. So O has to be compulsorily senior to N. So these are the three cases we will be looking at. Okay. Then L is junior to M. Okay. So junior is below M. Q is junior to J. And means Q, first person, senior to L. So Q is senior to L. So now L has to come below three persons, M, J, and Q. Okay, L has to come below M, J, and Q. Okay, we'll check that. Further, we have J is senior to K. Okay, so we have J above K. J has to be senior to K. Now next Q is senior to M. Okay. And so Q should be above M and neither a director nor an RM. So Q is neither a director nor an RM. So in the third case, I can remove Q as a director and as an RM. In the first case also, I can remove Q as a RM. Okay, so that is what we have as the information. Now, based on this, you have these three data here. I need to see who is, above all the remaining persons. Now check here, how many remaining positions are available? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in all, you have 5 positions available. Okay, now check, look at J particularly. Now J is above how many different people? So J is above Q and Q is above M and L. So J is above M and L. So 3. And J is also above K, 4. So J should be above these 4 persons. Now Q, M, L, K. Do I have them available in my table? No. So that tells you that in all the cases, I can definitely fix J at the topmost, because Q, M, L, K are the 4 different people that should come below J and that will occupy the remaining 4 available positions. Are you understanding the point? Then look at Q next. Now Q is above M and L. Correct? Q is above M and L. Okay, so if Q has to be above M and L, now where can I put K? Now check here. If Q has to be above M and L, then definitely Q is ruled out as AO, because in the first condition what we had, either K or Q is AO. Now since Q is above 2 different people, Q can never be AO. So who has to be? K has to be given as AO. So in all the 3 cases, I can fix K here. Correct? Now Q should be above M and L. Now there are only 3 other positions. So Q is above M and M is above L. That is the only thing now we have to fix. So when I do that, you are now getting Q as RM, M as a GM, L as clerk, which is not possible. The first arrangement is not possible. Why? Because Q is not RM, not director. That was what we had. Neither RM nor director. Correct? Now look at the third case also. In the third case, I am getting Q, M and L. So in the third case also, it is not possible. The arrangement is ruled out because Q is coming as the director. Here Q is coming as the RM. Not allowed. So the only possibility now available is Q, M, L. So this is the only arrangement we have that satisfies the conditions. Correct? Yeah. Okay. So now based on this, let's have a look into the questions. Yes. Now here the arrangement is given horizontally. That is fine. Who is the DGM? So DGM is M, and that's available in first option. Okay. Then what is the designation of O? So O's designation is RM, and RM is given in choice 2. Then how many persons are senior to Q? So in this case, left side of Q, how many are there? There are 2 people. So 2, but that is given in the third option. Then which of the following statements is true? Let us check. Now, since you have more than one of the above, we need to be careful. Okay, so we need to check one by one because you do have more than one of the above. Okay, one person is junior to K. Check, do I have one person junior to K? Correct, there is one person who is junior to K. So 1 is true. Okay. Then second, J is working as the chairman. Is it correct? Yes, J is working as the chairman. That is also correct. So then you can clearly say that it is the fifth option, more than one of the above. Correct? Okay. So choice 5. Okay. Right. Okay. So those are the questions you had in that set. And that brings us to the end of the reasoning section discussion for IBPS RRB discussion. Okay. So hope whatever is discussed is understood and clear. So thank you. Have a great rest of the day. Goodbye.